Today our group is going to be introducing the topic of building self-esteem. Our presentation is by myself, Brittany Camburn, Emily Manning, Meagan Carfield, and Claire Reichenbach. We'll start our presentation off by showing you a video about a child who has a high self-esteem.
So as you can see, that kid was very confident and had a lot of self-esteem. But what is the actual definition of self-esteem? Self-esteem refers to a person's evaluative feelings regarding oneself. It's a feeling of having respect for yourself and your abilities. It is similar to self-worth, how much a person values himself or herself. Signs of a healthy self-esteem in a child is that they enjoy interacting with others, they're comfortable in group settings, they work to find solutions when challenges arise, and they can voice their discontent without belittling themselves or others. They know and accept their strengths and weaknesses. They have a prevailing sense of optimism. They have an easier time handling conflict and resisting negative pressures, and they tend to smile more readily. Outcomes of a healthy esteem are: children are assertive in expressing their needs and opinions. They're confident in their ability to make decisions. They are able to form secure and honest relationships, and they're less likely to stay in their unhealthy relationships. They're realistic in their expectations for themselves. They are resilient and better able to weather stress and setbacks. They are less likely to be overcritical of themselves and others, and they are less likely to experience feelings such as hopelessness, worthlessness, guilt, and shame. The symptoms of unhealthy self-esteem in a child is they find challenges to be a source of major anxiety and frustration. They tend to be overly critical of themselves and others. They may become passive, withdrawn, or depressed. They're not open to new experiences. They see temporary setbacks as permanent, and they have difficulties solving problems they may face. They are unable to accept compliments or positive feedback, and they have a prevailing sense of pessimism. Another type of unhealthy self-esteem is overly high self-esteem. This can include having an unrealistically positive view of yourself, feeling superior to those around you. It can lead you to become arrogant or self-indulgent, and it can lead kids and teens to put others down. The outcomes of an unhealthy self-esteem include the fear of failure can hold kids back from succeeding at work or school. It can place kids at risk for mental health problems such as eating disorders, addiction, depression, and anxiety. And it can also be socially isolating for children.
The next topic we're going to discuss in our presentation is factors that shape and influence self-esteem. Your own thoughts and perceptions, how other people react to you, experiences at school, work, and in the community, illness, disability, or injury, culture, religion, and role and status in society. When looking at the cultural effects on self-esteem, Caucasian Americans embrace independence and emphasize self-expression, personal uniqueness, and self-sufficiency. Parents are concerned about their children's ability to build a sense of self. Asian American cultures, on the other hand, emphasize interdependence, group solidarity, solid hierarchy, and personal humility. Parents want to ensure that their children develop a sense of connectedness with their family.
Siblings can also affect a child's self-esteem. Children's personalities, social and cognitive skills, self-concept, values, and sense of protection from the outside world are influenced by their sibling relationships. Siblings also affect children's roles in peer groups, in selecting friends, and in the larger world. Birth order can also have an influence on self-esteem. The firstborn tends to have a higher self-esteem, the middleborn has a lower self-esteem, and the lastborn is also a low self-esteem. And a family with an only child also seems to have a high self-esteem. Other influence on self-esteem include siblings spending time together. Siblings who spent more constructive time together had higher self-esteem, while siblings who spent more time doing unstructured activities together experienced lower self-esteem, fewer social skills, and more feelings of depression. The other influence we're going to talk about is discrimination. In situations where discrimination was involved, strong sibling relationships help children to cope with discrimination and maintain high self-esteem.
Here are some ways we can build our children's self-esteem. Set your children up for success. Help your child develop talents and acquire skills that they enjoy and excel in. Provide opportunities for them to participate in activities that encourage cooperation instead of competition. Show love. Always do all things out of love. Be attentive, show affection, and when there is need for discipline, always follow with an increase of love. Withholding love should never be used as a punishment or as a result of a child's mistake. Never, ever withhold love. Spend time with your children. Stop multitasking. As mothers, we are trying to juggle so many things while we listen and spend time with our kids. We need to put everything down and come down to their level. Look them in the eye and make sure we are in the moment. Kids know when we are pretending to pay attention, but our minds are elsewhere. Stop labeling our children. All of us are searching for an identity. It defines us and helps us relate to other people and figure out where we belong. Our kids will live up to our labels, good or bad. We need to be careful. Another way we can build self-esteem in our child is to create a safe, loving environment. Kids who don't feel safe or are abused at home are at greatest risk for developing poor self-esteem. A child who is exposed to parents who fight and argue repeatedly may feel they have no control over their environment and become helpless or depressed. Here are some additional ways to build self-esteem in your child. Praise them for a job well done and also for effort. Identify and redirect inaccurate beliefs. Don't call children names or use sarcasm to prove a point. Help children become involved in constructive experience. Teach children how to handle conflict and failure.
Thank you for listening to our presentation about building self-esteem in children. We hope that you take these suggestions for building self-esteem in children and use them and implement them with your own children or when you are working with families with children who have self-esteem issues. We hope that this presentation has been helpful and that you use it in the future. Thank you. Here are some of the sources that we use to gather our information.